Welcome back, everyone, to Bird Talk with Terance Mathis. There's Terance Mathis. I'm your host, William Brandon. This week's episode, we'll discuss state of the Falcons. We're going to talk about the NFL free agency and the NFL draft. And, of course, throwbacks with Terance. So make sure to subscribe to Atlanta Sports Unlimited so you don't miss any content. So the NFL and the NFL Players Union are still determining the final salary cap number for 2021. And according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Atlanta Falcons' projected salary cap is going to put them around $35.7 million in the hole. And that's at the start of free agency, which is a little less than a month from now. Some notable free agents from the Falcons this season. You got center Alex Mack, running back Todd Gurley, safety Keanu O'Neal, and defensive back DeMonte KZ. Where do the Falcons start? Especially when you're in the hole, Terance, what do we do?
You look at the two elephants in the room. You look at the two elephants in the room. Hey, fans, this is what we're going to do today. We're going into the war room, the bird's nest of the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm going to try to give you a sense of thinking of how these things occur for free agency and the draft. And every day, when we walk in, I'm playing GM. Pretend we're in the room. So I'm walking in the room. I got my notes and my paper ready whatsoever. So I'm walking in the room. And the first thing we talk about, well, the salary cap number is going to be $180 million this year. Okay. We're going to still be $35 million over. Let's talk about the two elephants in the room, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Anybody have any answers for me? Okay, well, since you asked the question, here we go. Listen, we're going to have tough conversations with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. If I can get Matt Ryan's numbers to about 35, if I can get Julio's to about 20, that's going to help us in the salary cap whatsoever, because we got a little boost from last year, because as I just told you, the number is 180 now. But free agency wise, we're not going to jump in this free agency pool and try to catch every fish that's in the pond. We're not going to do that. We're going to be strategically go out and get what we need. We're going to address the issue right now, offensive line. We're going to address our offensive line situation. There's Trent Williams out in San Francisco that played in a passing offense and a good running offense. We move him to left. We have him play left tackle. We move Jake to right tackle. Now it takes pressure off of Jake, where he doesn't have to worry about the best defensive guy coming off that edge trying to get to the quarterback's blind side. And now we got to address Alex Mack. We got to have him. He's that captain of the offensive line. He's the thing that makes sure protection as well, that we're blocking the right people, that we're doing the right things against the scheme and blitzes whatsoever. But the addition of Trent Williams gives you that meanness, that attitude, that guy that's going to push everyone else in that meeting room. Yeah. We don't need to draft another guy. We've done that over the last 2 or 3 years. And right now, these guys should be ready to play in cohesiveness together. We bring in a guy like Trent Williams. See, I'm trying to get everybody on board here. We're bringing a guy like Trent Williams. We're going to be okay at the offensive line position. You're gonna have some room, because we're gonna let Todd Gurley test the market. Okay. We're gonna see what's out there. We can make a splash with a young guy in the draft, or there's Marlon Mack out there from the Indianapolis Colts that is a good fit for us, that can help us. There's even the guy Philip Lindsay out of Denver. He's there too in free agency that can help us. But if we want to go long, we won't draft a running back at the 4th pick. We won't do that. We maybe wait till the 2nd and 3rd round, and you may have ETN from Clemson or Patterson from Buffalo.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris. I think Najee's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Now, if he's there in the 2nd round, let's go get him. Yeah, got to go get him. So now we got to address our wide receiver position. We got 3 guys that are really good. We know Julio gonna give us a few more good years, but we need somebody that's gonna step up. You got Terrence Marshall Jr. in LSU that may be there in the second, third, maybe even fourth round. He may slip that late. Let's go get him to add to Julio Ridley and Gage. And that gives us a formidable receiving group that can move around and do some special things. Tight end wise, we're fine, guys. We're fine tight end wise. We got a guy that can run, can catch, that can block. We can move him in the backfield, out wide, in the slot, put his hand down. So we're good. So there goes our offensive game plan. I talked about addressing the free agency on offense and Trent Williams, and that's all we need right there. And then we go pick up some guys in the draft. We maybe go, you got you got the two running backs that is not going to cost you a lot of money in free agency. Maybe you go do that. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see after we have those conversations with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and see where we are salary cap wise. Defensively, free agency wise, we can't go pick up another guy free agency wise on the front. We don't have enough money to do that. If we go get an edge rusher gets paid. He's like the third highest paid player in the franchise, behind the quarterback, the offensive lineman, and then it's the edge rusher. But we're going to draft one. And if we want to draft one high, we go get, my notes are just impeccable today. We go get Tyreke Smith from Ohio State. Let me tell you why. I'm going to play the odds. I'm going to be analytical here. Over the last 3 or 4 years, the defensive rookie in the NFL has come out of Ohio State.
Wow.
They're ready-made football players. I'm going to get that guy. And if it plays out like Boza and all the rest of them, another edge rusher right there, that's going to make a name for himself in the NFL. And that's Tyreke Smith. Let's go get him. And then we hope Davison is healthy enough to help shore up the middle of that defense to stop the run game whatsoever. We're good on the other side with Fowler. We got Terrell at one corner. Then we have to address the other corner. I have to say, we got to address the other side. Sheffield, he got some time whatsoever. He'll be better because we're going to get an edge rusher and we put some pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
And then we got to talk about our safety position. Our linebackers are fine. We got to talk about the safety position. Here's the issue that we're discussing right now, guys, in our meeting. And I know you fans are looking in podcasts and what we're doing in this war room, and we're on the board whatsoever. We have two guys. One that's a free agent that we're going to have to pay a whole lot of money to keep. But we know that he's been injured, has some injury issues over the last 2 or 3 years. And we got another guy that's making a whole lot of money whatsoever. And is he giving us what we need?
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to keep both. We're not going to be able to keep both. So here's what we have to do. We have to really go get a guy, not in free agency because we can't afford to pay him. We got to go get a guy that we know that can play sideline to sideline, that we can groom him to be ready to play, if not this year, by the end of the season and for sure next year.
Yeah.
So what does that do with Neil? I don't know. Neil, me personally, if I'm Pease and Pease, you sitting right next to me, you're the defensive coordinator. I know you want this guy and I want him here, but what is it going to cost us? So if we keep him, we're going to have to let the free safety go.
Ricardo Allen.
Yeah, Ricardo Allen. We got to let Allen go. And that's the name of the game. And there we are. But you got to understand this. I'm sitting there going, yeah, this all looks like tough decisions, and they are tough decisions. But tough decisions have to be made for us to be successful because we're only 2 to 3 players away of playing in an NFC championship game and possibly the Super Bowl. That's how close we are.
That's great. Tell me, you mentioned to me before off camera about where you think the value is in the draft and why you think it's in those middle rounds, the 3rd and 4th. Why is that?
Well, this is why I don't like to be When you're a ready-made football team like the Falcons are, and your salary cap situation is detriment right now, that fourth pick is enticing to a lot of football teams right now.
Yeah.
You can trade and get out of the first round or go late in the first round and get a lot of picks for that first round pick. So for instance, if I can get me another two number twos,
Mm-hmm.
three threes, and three fours, that number equals up to paying that number four pick.
Yeah.
So now I got seven guys that I use that number four pick salary for to build my franchise. Now, those guys in the third and fourth round are upset because they thought I'm better than that guy who went up before me in the first and second round.
Yeah.
So they're going to come into the camp to try to prove to you that I'm better. My value is better than those guys that got picked in front of me. And you're going to get some really good football players and good teammates. Now, you save money with some really good football players. Now, when their contracts are up, you're not jumping as high as if you drafted somebody in the first round.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now, when his contract is up, now he has a first round value in money.
Exactly.
But you didn't get 4 or 5 good years out of him before then. So that's the value in number threes and number fours. And that's how you build your team. Ask the Seattle Seahawks. Ask the New England Patriots. That's the formula. That's the formula, guys. And if we can do that and find great football players with chips on their shoulders, we can build this franchise and win division championships for a long time and play in conference championships and play in multiple Super Bowls.
Okay. Well, I see you got your GM attire on today. So
yeah, I got my Falcon stuff on today because we all Falcons today, baby.
All right. So I'm going to throw a little, I want you to put your GM hat on. Okay. So he mentioned before about Matt Ryan and Julio, everyone. Matt Ryan could possibly have a cap hit of 40 million and Julio upwards of 23 million. GM Terance Mathis, what do you say to these guys to get them to restructure to help out the team?
First of all, I got to sit with my salary cap guru and say, how can we move these numbers around to make them cap friendly for us and make the player happy? And then I said, you got to give me 3 scenarios. So I got my 3 sheets. So now I'm calling Matt Ryan in and says, Matt, you know the situation. Your cap number is about 40 million. We can't sign anybody right now. Let's look. I know you probably have several great years left in you. We're not trying to get rid of you. You're our guy. You're our franchise quarterback. We just gonna put some pieces around you to make you even better. But we need the salary cap to do it. We're gonna have to find a way. Here's my scenarios to try to get you to 35 or less. And here's the scenarios. Let's put bulk of it on the back end. Put a bulk of it on the back end. Let's give it to you now, give you a good sign-in bonus and put a bulk of it on the back end. And let's see what happens. So, and there you are. So now you bring Julio in. Julio, dude, you're the best receiver in the NFL. What we do offensively in the passing game is because of you. And we need you on the field healthy for 16 games. Your cap number, we got to get your cap number below 20 whatsoever. Look, man, I've been there before. Hey, I don't know how many more years left you have left in you, but we know this is going to be your best years over these next 2 to 3 years. And we don't know what's going to happen after that. Let's restructure and put money on the back end to help not only you, but help this franchise so we can be a dominant force in the NFL.
Well, see, I had you put your GM hat, and I hate to switch gears, but I need you to put on your player hat. You're the wide receiver. What has been said to you in the past?
Oh, wow. It's funny because, I didn't have those options. after year 12, I come into the office and coach says to me, he says, "Hey, we have a problem." I says, "Coach, before you even start, I understand. My salary cap number is high. I thought about it. I have a great plan, a great scenario for you." Okay, so that year, my salary cap, understand this. That year, I was only going to make 4.6 million.
Dang.
That sounds like that don't sound like a lot in today's game, does it? That's not even a signing bonus in today's game.
Yeah.
So, and I knew my salary cap number was going to be about 4.95 million. So I said, "Hey, look, let's cut my salary in half.
Okay.
Let's go 2.3. Let's take the other 2.3. Let's take half of that and put it, give me a signing bonus of $1 million. And then we'll put the other $1 million in the incentives." And he said, "That sounds good. That'll help us a lot, but I can't do that." And I sat back like, "What? I thought that was good." Then he goes, "Well, we have some young guys that need to play." And I said, "Oh, I get it. I understand." And I started naming out a few guys. I said, "Yeah, they deserve to play." I said, "Coach, let's do this." Because I only wanted to play one more year in Atlanta. And I was going to retire one more year. I said, "Coach, let's do this. I go to training camp. If I get beat out fairly, I'll walk away and retire." He sat back in his chair, says, "Terance, I can't do that either." I says, "Why not, Coach?" He says, "Because they won't beat you out."
Mm.
And I said, and that's when you find out that, and we've known this. Every player, veteran player knows this, that when you have a value to your team in the locker room and even on the field, sometimes because of money, other players got to play and you get pushed out. And that's what happened to me here in Atlanta.
Man. And that was with Coach Reeves, right?
I didn't mention no names, did I?
Mm-mm. That's why I'm here.
But you know what? Me and Coach talked about that afterwards. And one thing he said to me, and he even said it to my wife, he said that was probably the biggest mistake I made.
Dang.
He should have, he was at the time, I was the all-time leading receiver in Falcons history in yards, catches, and touchdowns. And, I should have retired as a Falcon. I should have retired, and that's what he told. He should have. He had the right. He deserved the right to retire as a Falcon, and that didn't happen. But hey,
Dang. Yeah, I thought you would have as well. From a fan perspective, I thought you would have retired as a Falcon as well. Final segment, Terance's throwbacks. What you got?
Since we're getting ready for the draft, free agency, we already talked about the free agency stuff. I became a free agent. Put it that way. After I got released, I went to the Steelers and had a cup of coffee there. Then we talked about the draft. I'm getting ready for the draft, coming out of the University of New Mexico, out NCAA leader, all-time catches, yards, and catches and whatsoever. And I was projected to be one of the top 3 receivers picked in the draft. Went to the combine, didn't perform well in the combine for a number of reasons. And here's the funny story. So we're sitting in a locker room and we're getting ready to run 40s. So me and Shannon Sharp is sitting on the floor. We sitting on the floor and we're watching guys walk by and we hit each other. He's gonna run a 4.3. Then we look, and he's probably about a 4.4. Then we look again, we nudge each other. Oh, we know he can't run. He can't run. And then we looked at each other and said,
"What you gonna?"
"I'd be happy to run a 4.6." We both ran 4.6 40s. I think he may have ran a 4.7. I was the 18th receiver picked in the draft. He was the 19th receiver picked in the draft. Out of the 17 receivers or so picked before us, only Shannon.
Sterling?
Nope, Shannon.
Oh.
Shannon moved to tight end once he got to the league.
Oh, gotcha.
Out of those 19 receivers picked, 18 before him, he's the only one that made it to the Hall of Fame.
Dang.
And I was the only one besides Ricky Pro played more than 10 years Well, I'm gonna go back more than 8 years in the league.
Wow.
So to say that when you draft a guy and he has something to prove, he's gonna be a great football player for you. I still got a chip on my shoulder since 1990. People telling me I can and I can't. So that's when I'm talking about the draft, when I'm saying third, fourth, fifth round picks.
Yeah.
They hungry. They're going to play with chips on their shoulders. So the throwback today is Jamal Anderson was picked in the 6th round, and he was a great player for us. So you got to, the throwback is, let's throw back to the 3rd and 4th round and get some quality players.
All right. And I agree with you. I think there is a lot of hunger in those picks from what I've seen. So I hope that the Falcons are listening and they're taking General Manager Terance Mathis's advice.
and you know, if somebody tell them about this, or if they look at this or hear this, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's really not that easy." I get it. Nothing's easy, but if you don't have those tough conversations, you'd never know. Yeah. If you already self-rejected and said, "Well, we ain't gonna be able to get it done. Oh, we ain't gonna be able to get that guy," you defeated already. You go in there as a winner. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna be positive whatsoever. Let's get this done because this is for the betterment of this franchise, because we want to win football games. But not only that, we want to take care of you when you leave this organization and make sure you're fine. So if you're not having those conversations as a GM or player personnel director with your players, I'm not even talking about agents. When you go to agents, it just messes it all up. Mm-hmm. You got to have tough conversations with those players, those franchise players that can make decisions for your franchise, far as talent level, coaches, whatsoever. They deserve the right to be talked to like grown men and businessmen.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, we're at the end of the show. I do want to just mention one caveat. All the fans that are watching, if you got a question that you might want to hear Terance Mathis ask, you make sure you let us know. We'll go through them and we'll see, and check out the show. And you never know, maybe your question will be asked to the legendary Terance Mathis.
Hey, I answer almost anything, but you know, I don't get rattled much. You can ask me anything, and I'm gonna answer the question. You ask a question, I answer.
Okay, that's great. I know any journalist loves that from any athlete. The transparency and being able to talk about things. Again, I want to thank y'all for joining us. I'm your host, William Brandon. That's Terance Mathis. Continue to stay safe and continue to check us out at Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Anything else, Pete?
No, I'm just taking off my GM hat, man. Let's go to work, Falcons. Let's get this thing done.
Let's get it. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, take care.